Hi guys, in a recent video, Boris Johnson's former advisor Dominic Cummings claimed that Michael Gove and himself were aware of a cover-up involving grooming gangs. They incidentally didn't do very much about it at the time, and just recently, as about a week ago, decided to speak to the public about this. The Barnard Castle optician also gave an interview to the conservative-backing Telegraph where he focused his targets on asylum seekers. What he says here is completely unhinged, but the question has to be, what is this guy's game?
So what you have to do is you have to repeal the Human Rights Act. You have to state that you're withdrawing from the jurisdiction of the Strasbourg court, and you then deploy the Navy and you stop the boats.
Oh my goodness, okay. So he wants to leave the European Convention on Human Rights. He wants to suspend the Human Rights Act, which is there, of course, not just to protect people in Northern Ireland, but also to protect the rights of British people. To do what? To stop the boats. So you deploy the Navy to stop the boats. Okay, it gets even worse than this.
And you say, nobody is landing from any of these boats. Everybody from these boats that we pick up will get dropped on an island somewhere.
On an island somewhere. Where? Where is this island? He's talking about picking people up in the middle of the sea, the English Channel, and dropping them off on some island. Now, first of all, you would need hundreds of ships if you were to pick up everyone who's crossing the channel, because potentially thousands of people hundreds of people cross every day, up to 1,000 at one stage. So how are you going to catch all these people? But even if you don't catch all of them, you're going to catch some of them, and you're going to take them to where? What island are you talking about? Because you're going to fill up an island with people to do what? To claim asylum there? Is there going to be an asylum centre for them to claim asylum in the UK? Even though that's illegal, how would you operate this plan of yours?
No one will be coming to mainland Britain of any kind. The boats will be destroyed, and the people organising the boats are going to be put on a list for UK Special Forces to kill or capture, the way that we do with various terrorist organisations.
Okay, so once again, these people are operating outside the UK's jurisdiction. This is, remember, a Brexiteer who didn't want to cooperate with the European Union, didn't want to cooperate with France and other countries. So now, all of a sudden, he wants to send UK Special Forces into France, and perhaps other countries like Belgium and maybe the Netherlands, to assassinate people. Now, do you think the French, Belgian and Dutch authorities would go along with this? Dominic Cummings' plan to carry out assassinations of people. And what happens if ordinary citizens who are not involved in this are caught in the crossfire? Who is responsible then? How would the UK government excuse their actions? This is beyond unhinged. It's absolutely ridiculous.
As soon as you announce that is your policy and take serious steps to do it, the boats stop straight away, because the people doing this are not ideological terrorists, right, who want to die and get into and fight about this. They're there to make money.
He's supposed to be clever. He was supposed to be this great genius, and he's talking about leaving the Human Rights Act. We don't know the impact that would have on the Good Friday Agreement because he hasn't explained. He wants to send the Navy into the Channel to break international law, to pick people up, dump them on an island somewhere, we don't know which island this is, where their claim will not be processed, they will just stay there, and then send special forces into France, Belgium or the Netherlands to assassinate individuals. Okay.
So as soon as they realise, an island nation is actually just going to stop these stupid boats, they're obviously going to send the people somewhere else.
So
the people want to go to Britain. It's not the people smugglers that are sending people to Britain. It's the people paying the people smugglers to get to Britain. His focus seems to be on, well, if we punish these people smugglers, then they won't send people to Britain. No, it's the asylum seekers who are trying to get to Britain, not the people smugglers. Once again, this guy is supposed to have 300 IQ or something. And he doesn't seem to understand the difference, not between an economic migrant and an asylum seeker. He doesn't seem to understand the difference between an asylum seeker and a people smuggler.
Dominic, can I just be clear? What you're saying for the boats is that special forces should be able to capture or kill the gang masters that are arranging for these dinghies.
Correct.
How? How would you do that? You would need to work with other jurisdictions. You would have to work with other countries in Europe. But remember, this guy is a Brexiteer. He supports the idea of cutting Britain off from the rest of Europe. We don't want to deal with the French. We don't want to deal with the Dutch. We don't want to deal with the Belgians. We want nothing to do with Europe. And now he's trying to suggest what Britain could do is send special forces into these countries, ignoring their sovereignty. Just for anyone who supports this idea, how would you feel if French special forces were sent to Britain without Britain's consent and assassinated people, and perhaps assassinated the wrong people, and killed civilians who had nothing to do with this? How would British people care? How would they feel about that? I think they would be pretty upset, and rightly so.
If you actually are going to prioritise stopping it, which I think you should do, you can't have tens of thousands of people a year coming over on these stupid things and then stacked up in hotels for which we're paying billions of quid. Then they run around, a lot of them committing crimes, undermining any kind of public support for on immigration policy. It's an all-round farcical disaster that makes us look like a joke country.
You made Britain look like a joke country. You told people if they voted to leave the European Union, it would bring down immigration. And what has happened since then? Immigration has skyrocketed. You told people to vote for Boris Johnson because he would be a great prime minister. He was an absolute disaster. This guy also backed Liz Truss, I believe. So why is this guy being interviewed? Why is he not being challenged on these ridiculous positions? How is it possible that I'm asking more difficult questions than a frigging journalist? Dominic Cummings is a charlatan. He's not stupid, although he sort of undermined that position in this interview. He's not stupid, so why is he saying stupid things? What is his game? What is his goal here? Who is he trying to convince? Is he trying to worm his way back into the Conservative Party, or is he making a pitch to Reform UK? Is he trying to rub up to Nigel Farage, trying to get close to him? What is his objective? I don't know yet. Perhaps we'll find out later on. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.